in Awka. Federal government issues certificates of registration sales permits to fertilizer dealers. Wife of ex-Malaysian Prime Minister jailed 10 years for bribery. Hello, beautiful morning to you and welcome to Breakfast News on ABS Television. I am David Opopasele. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. We begin this morning from Orome Etiti Anam, where the Anambra State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afamo Bidike, says that Governor Chukwuma Soludo's administration is determined to entrench a functional and efficient primary health care centers across the state. Dr. Bidike stated this while commissioning the renovated Community Referral Health Center, Orome Etiti Anam, in Anambra West local government area of the state. Our health correspondent, Chibuzo Okoye, completes the story.
The hospital renovated by Orome Etiti Anam Progressive Forum, Dr. Obidike said that functional primary healthcare centers would enhance accessible and prompt medical services to the people in rural communities. The health commissioner, who thanked the group for the good gesture, urged Orome Etiti Anam to enroll into the Anambra State Health Insurance Agency for them to access medical services with ease at all times.
We are developing this model to revamp our primary healthcare system because we want it to be one of the best in the country, and we are working so much on it. So it's a very good thing, and we are going to ask another committee to emulate it. The government obviously cannot do all alone, and in terms of this, a way you give back to the community.
The State Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, Honorable Tony Collins Mwabwane, who is an indigene of the community, urged other communities to emulate the group to sustain the tempo of development of the state, and assured that the current administration in the state will continue to deliver on its mandate.
They should take ownership of anything that happens here, everything, every development. They should take ownership. And I want to believe they will do that. So I encourage them and I say thank you to all of them. And also to the people of the community for their peaceful coordination.
In their separate remarks, the chairman of the forum, Mr. Sylvester Zemena, and a member of the forum, who is also a media consultant, Mr. Basil Okeke, explained that they bought hospital beds, examination beds, delivery mats, thermometer, malaria kits, blood pressure kits, among others, and appealed to the state government to assist the hospital in building doctors' quarters, more wards, ambulance, among numerous other things.
I'm very happy, not that we've been able to achieve this, but it's going to serve, as a precedent for other communities, to say that government alone cannot do it. And I believe this little we've done, we are believing that government will now come and intervene.
The Transition Committee Chairman of Anambra West Local Government Area, Mr. Felix Ikechi, and the President General of Orome Etiti Anam, Barrister Basil Mwabwane, equally spoke during the event. From Orome Etiti Anam in Anambra West Local Government Area, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
And still from the health sector, Anambra State Government is to launch an online method of consultation, prescription and treatment of patients known as telemedicine. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afamo Bidike, announced this at the Godwin Ezemo International Press Center Awka during the September monthly Congress of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Anambra State Council. Ngozi Obeleri has the details.
Represented by Dr. Uju Okoye of the Anambra State Ministry of Health, Dr. Obidike said that the method has been introduced in many developed countries but has not been in existence in Nigeria, noting that it will be launched in Anambra in 2 weeks' time. According to the commissioner, the method targets hard-to-reach areas of the state that lack medical personnel like doctors to reduce deaths and crises people experience due to lack of medical attention. He said with telemedicine, doctors can consult, prescribe and administer treatments to patients in the hard-to-reach areas by speaking directly with and seeing the patients through the assistance of the nurses at the primary health centers via a device. The commissioner explained that very hard-to-treat cases can be transferred to a bigger hospital closer to a particular area via a keke ambulance that will be stationed in all the primary health centers across the state. On the distribution of insecticide-treated nets carried out recently, Dr. Obidike explained that government is aware that the nets did not get to all the households because the Federal Ministry of Health that facilitated the exercise supplied the nets according to the number of households captured in the last census, but he assured that his ministry will send feedback to them and request for more nets so as to ensure that every household is covered. He commended journalists in the state, especially the NUJ Anambra chairman Dr. Odogwu Emeka Odogwu and his team for working tirelessly to ensure that Ndi Anambra are abreast with government policies and programs, describing journalists as partners in nation building. Earlier, Dr. Odogwu thanked the commissioner for identifying with the union and commended him for playing a big role in ensuring that the Health Week held by the union recently was successful. From Godwin Ezemo International Press Center, Oka, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
Work is in progress on the failed portion of Isofia axis of Iwuku-Isofia Ekulobia Road. The failed portion has made both human and vehicular movement on the road very difficult for several months. Works correspondent Ngozi Obileri monitored the pace of work on the road and now reports.
At the site, drainage construction was ongoing on both sides of the road, while filling of the failed portion of the road is over 80% completed. Many equipment were seen doing various degree of work, including excavator, payloader, compactor, roller, boca vibrator to stimulate concrete, as well as materials like sharp sand, chippings, cement, and others. Speaking to the ABS, the site supervisor, Engineer Moses Abba, said the work started early August and will last till sometime in October, adding that though the road is about 300 meters, it has serious challenges that gulp resources and time, but expressed satisfaction that the earthwork is far done. He said that they had to create catchment pits near the road and channeled waters around the area into the pit to enable them work freely. According to him, a bigger catchment pit will be created 400 meters away from the road to ensure that the road is not threatened.
So far, we have gathered a lot of achievements compared to when we started the road. Initially, this area used to be flooded. As God may have it, within the period of our work, we were able to cut the flooded area, cut the bad materials out, and refill back with good material, well compacted.
In their separate speeches, some road users, Mr. Augustine Anibogo and Mary Ann Mbadoga, who decried the condition of the road before the state government's intervention, appreciated Governor Soludo for coming to their aid.
These are the Broma Chacha, but with here and make it more believable. No, I come.
Canadian, so I did a work coach. Those who are the Obaros, your Papalagoba.
Meanwhile, the contractor created diversion from the failed portion, which helped to control traffic on the road from Isuofia axis of Iwuku-Isuofia Ekulobia Road. I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
United Nations Peace and Positive Living Awareness Center, UNPOLAC, has called on Africans to embrace peace for sustainable development and progress. The UNPOLAC International Coordinator Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Ozioma Ozemena, made the call when he led some members of the organization on a courtesy visit to the Managing Director, Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS, Sachido Obidiegwu. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo now reports.
Reverend Dr. Ozemena, while explaining that the organization, whose motto is Think Globally, Act Locally, is committed to promoting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and UNESCO Culture of Peace Project and Positive Living, noted that peace has no alternative, and for there to be sustainable development, good governance, adequate security of life and property, there must be peace. Disclosing that the organization has over the years recruited people of high repute and impeccable character who were carefully selected to help in facilitating the enthronement of relatively peaceful society across the globe. Reverend Dr. Ozemena invited Sachido to the group's event holding at the Professor Dora Akunyili Women Development Center, Oka, where they will honor him and host of others.
For us to have good governance, there must be peace. For us to have mutual coexistence, there must be peace. For us to have a sustainable development, there must be peace. So why we have come, in a nutshell, is that we've come to register our solidarity with you, to congratulate you for the office that God has given to you in Anambra State, and at the same time to let you know that we are in existence in Anambra State, and we're on ground, and we are not shaken.
Responding, Sachido, who described peace as fundamental for development and progress in every society, pointed out that no nation thrives in absence of peace and commended the group for ensuring lasting peace in the world. He assured that the ABS will partner the group in preaching peace to the world, as according to him, the world presently is in dire need of peace.
Shared with you, and I can boldly say that anytime, any day that you call on me, that I'm going to be available.
Thank you so much.
By the special grace of God. Thank you, and God bless you.
In a remark, Igwe Emeka Ilono of Ifitedunu commended the ABS boss on his new position and thanked him for accepting to partner them in the interest of the society. The courtesy visit climaxed with a special prayer session for ABS, Anambra State, Nigeria, and the world in general and the group. In Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
Anambra State female comrades, championed by Ms. Chiamaka Baro-Jego, have organized a 3-day skills acquisition training for young girls and women. Our correspondent, Amaka Chibuzo-Koe, reports.
The program tagged Skill Acquisition, a tool for liberating women from economic abuse, was aimed at tutoring them on acquisition of skills to reduce the high rate of unemployment in the country and conscious efforts to establish and equip women to become self-reliant. Speaking at the event at St. Patrick's Cathedral, Oka, the convener, Ms. Baro-Jego, said they targeted to expose beneficiaries to skills that would enable them actualize their potentials and earn them a living without depending on anyone.
Let them concentrate, pay attention, learn all this, and tomorrow it's going to be something beneficial to them and the society. Yeah.
For a resource person, Ms. Chidima Okibe, skill acquisition will help them to have self-control, be employers of labor, and above all, free from both sexual and financial abuse, even as she encouraged them to stand up and fight unemployment by acquiring a skill.
As a woman, as a girl, you also need to work, earn a living. Another importance of skill acquisition is what? To contribute to the economic growth of the country.
Another speaker, Ms. Doris Ukachukwu, who measured on makeup and hair tie, asked participants to make good opportunity of the knowledge garnered from the training to live fulfilled life.
It is very important for every youth to at least have something doing. So if the government fails, you can fix yourself somewhere. You can see where you are feeding from, because anyone that has a skill can never go hungry in this country. So that is my advice too.
Some of the participants, including Adora Asiebun, Chisom Mwana, and Ebele Samuel, thanked the convener, Ms. Baro-Jego, for the steps taken to ensure that the girl child is out of the streets. The participants were nurtured on baking, beads, making of yogurt, makeup artists, soap making, among others. In Oka, Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
The federal government has presented certificates of registration and sales permit to authorize fertilizer dealers in Nigeria. It stated that based on the registration and permits, non-licensed operators were not allowed to produce, blend, import, market, or distribute fertilizers across the country. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ernest Omakihe, presented the certificates and sales permit to the fertilizer operators in Abuja. Omakihe, who was represented by the Director of Special Duties Farmed, Forsat Lawal, said the government had trained and deployed fertilizer and agricultural pesticide quality control inspectors to the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. He said the inspectors were currently working with relevant security agencies to ensure compliance with the provisions of stipulated regulations in order to protect farmers and industries. The permanent secretary urged the suppliers of fertilizers to ensure that only licensed agro dealers were allowed to buy their products and to strictly abide and operate within the provisions of the regulations. In business news, National Insurance Commission (NIC) has said it followed due process in its acquisition of a 4 billion naira uncompleted property meant to house its academy and offices. The head corporate communications and market development, Mr. Abdulrazak Salami, in a rebuttal said the request for the acquisition was channeled through the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who presented it at the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammad Buhari. He further explained that all documents relating to the property clearly state that the property was in an unfinished state. The statement added that adequate due diligence was conducted on the property for acquisition and all relevant approvals were secured by the Commission. The building is to serve the dual purpose of housing the newly established NICOM Academy, an initiative of the incumbent leadership of the Commission to address knowledge gap in the insurance sector, regulation and supervision in Nigeria, Africa and beyond, and also serve as the head office of the Commission. The statement further said that the clarification became necessary to detonate all erroneous reports meant to mislead the public and tarnish the image of NICOM. From the foreign scene, the wife of ex-Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak has been sentenced to 10 years in prison on each of 3 bribery charges. Rosmah Nansor was found guilty on 3 charges of soliciting and receiving bribes to help a company win a 1.25 billion naira ringgit, 2.5 billion ringgit equivalent of $279 million US or 240 million pounds project. The High Court said the jail terms would run concurrently. It came days after her husband began serving a 12-year jail term for corruption. The 70-year-old is known for her love of luxury goods and jewelry. In sports, delegates from about 70 golf clubs and other critical stakeholders from across Nigeria have begun the first Nigeria Golf Federation Summit aimed at charting a new direction for golf in the country. The summit held at Abuja explored topical issues that are related to the development and growth of golf in Nigeria. The President, Nigeria Golf Federation, Mr. Otumbaru Sewe, said the outcome of the summit will give a new lease of life to golf in the country. He added that NGF also intended to use the platform to galvanize support and understanding of the golf captains from across the country by moving the game to a new level, including youth development program. And that's the news this morning. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television, or subscribe to our YouTube at ABS Television, or you can follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Log on to our website at www.absradiotv. Before we go, here are the main points again. We told you that the Anambra State health system has received a boost with the introduction of telemedicine. Skill acquisition training on young girls, women have been held in Awka. We also told you that the federal government has issued certificates of registration, sales permit to fertilizer dealers, as wife of ex-Malaysian Prime Minister has been jailed 10 years for bribery. Remember that Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's continue to give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's the news. Thanks for joining us. I am David Okpokwasile.